I'm Hannah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we are cracking open the 2026 Marathon Weekend event guide. We'll share our training updates, or lack thereof, count down the days until race weekend, and give you all the must-know details to make your marathon weekend unforgettable. From navigating the expo and grabbing your bib, as well as fighting through the Hunger Games of shoes, to understanding transportation, race courses, gear check, and spectator tips, we've got you covered. We'll also talk about race etiquette to ensure everyone has a magical and smooth experience this weekend. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us.
All right, let's get into it. I'm going to break into some Nerds Gummy Clusters to kick us off.
Ooh.
Before we get into the big kahuna. I know, right? It's very on brand. I don't know, maybe not on brand, on theme? I don't know.
I'd say on brand, or it's on brand. It is on theme. It's, you know.
Yeah. So if you want some Nerd Cluster ASMR. These are actually really hard to open. I don't understand why I could never run with these mini packs. I know that people like them, but I struggle so much to get into these. I would need to like pre-cut them. I would just pour them all into like a Ziploc bag or something. I cannot get into these. Ooh, yay. But I could never do this sweaty. I'm not sweaty right now, and poof. I remember one time, I think I've told the pod this, one time I was trying to get into a Cliff box during the Peachtree Road Race, and I was so sweaty because it was so hot that I couldn't open it, and I asked a random stranger on the street if they could open it for me. That was great.
You know, you gotta do what you gotta do at some point, and there are fuel fairies among us. So,
speaking of fuel and training, I got the biggest feed order ever known to man. Just kidding. That's like probably not true. I'm sure someone else has ordered more than I have. However, I haven't ordered anything from the feed probably since like last marathon weekend cycle for training. And I haven't been on as many like really long runs as I should have for this training cycle. So my leftover fuel from that was lasting a lot longer than expected. Black Friday rolled around and I could no longer resist. Today's box that arrived was bigger than my torso. It was huge. And I was like, I remember buying stuff, but I don't remember buying this much stuff. Well, I bought 3 boxes of Morton, like the 12-pack boxes, because it was a deal. It was like if I was gonna buy 2, but then it was actually cheaper to just go ahead and, well, not really, because you spend more because you get it, but really I was basically getting the third one free by you doing their deal. It was like a couple extra bucks for Black Friday. So I went ahead and bought 3. I got a pack of the sour apple Cliff blocks, like a whole box. I got a whole box of Mountain Berry. I got a whole box of salted watermelon. And then I got 5 of the strawberry lemonade sours and 5 of the black cherry sours, because those both have caffeine and I don't take as many of those, so they last a lot longer.
mm-hmm.
And then I got 3 Huma Plus pink lemonade, or yeah, I think pink lemonade, and some other one that is also pinkish or something, and I don't remember, maybe it's like a fruit smoothie flavor or something. I got 2 free Edge gels, which I've never tried before. That was like on offer because of what I'd bought. You know, you get the little offers at the end. Sometimes there's free stuff and sometimes there's like really, really discounted stuff. I got 2 like big feed bottles for free. I got a whole nother case of pickle shots. Plus, I went ahead and finally ordered the chili shots.
Woo!
I didn't buy a whole case of the chili shots just because I want to taste them first before I commit to a whole pallet.
That is fair.
What else did I get? Oh, I got 2 packs of honey stinger gels of the acai and the fruit smoothie. And I got a bunch of cherry Bundy, the tart cherry juice. I really like that stuff, and I got it in the individual packs because then I can pack it for I tend to use it at, like, races and stuff more than I do at home. At home, we just buy an actual bottle of tart cherry juice and keep it in the fridge, but the little individual packs are nice for travel. And I bought the sleep ones too, which I'm hopeful will aid me in my jet lag journey in Tokyo. We'll
Fair.
see. We'll see. I also got a whole like, free pack of Element too, of,
Ooh.
like, a
Oh, I
bunch of
love,
like, a
yeah.
tester pack of a bunch of the flavors, so that'll be good. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't remember what. So but it was a lot,
That is beautiful.
and the box was a little busted up because it was so much.
It's so funny. That reminds me, I should probably place mine or place one. I know it's not quite Black Friday anymore, but in terms of when you said the pickle shots, I'm like, ooh.
Mhm.
I still have some
I still have,
from
like, 3 more from my last pallet, but that's not gonna last me through both marathon weekend and Tokyo. Well, I guess technically will because I can't we just went over this today in the group chat. I can't bring the pickle shots for Tokyo. So now I'm back to square one of figuring out what my salt plan is for Tokyo. So
like take like a freaking salt packet. I don't know. I think
I
Kristen
know.
does mustard. Like if you get tired
I
of
don't
the
I just am like I mean, technically that is commercially sealed, so maybe I could sneak mustard packets in. They're, like, really strict about liquids. Like,
mm,
gels and stuff don't seem to be on the list, but any kind of, like, electrolyte drink or anything that they interpret to be a drink, I don't think they'll hopefully think mustard is a drink, but is restricted. So, I was thinking I might try some of the salt stick, like, capsules instead of just the tabs because in case you were curious, in order to get the same amount of salt that's in a pickle shot, you have to eat 20 fast chews. And that's a lot of fast chews. Even if you're, like, spacing it out, like, a couple every, like, 5 minutes or whatever, over an hour, my mouth would be so over it. They also they taste amazing, but if I had that many, I feel like my mouth would start to get that I guess I haven't tested it, so I'm not speaking ill of Salt Stick, but I feel like when you're a kid and you ate too many Smarties or
oh
Sweet
yeah.
Tarts, and
Oh yeah.
eventually your tongue starts to kinda get, like, raw almost?
Yes.
Yeah, I just imagine that if I had to take that many salt tabs over the duration of an entire marathon every hour, we're
Yeah,
gonna run
woof.
into some issues.
Yeah, no.
Even with different flavors and stuff, I just don't think I can chew that many salt tabs. So, if you have recommendations or you've run Tokyo, I would love to hear about it because I googled the electrolyte drink and I am not thrilled.
Yeah. Oof. This is such a different like planning thing for a marathon.
Mhm.
Dang, too bad we have like other episode of stuff to go through, like stuff to go through before we get to the main topic, because that would have been just such a smooth transition.
Right?
Dang.
Darn.
Damn. Well,
Yeah. I don't have any actual training updates. I have another illnessy thing that is preventing me and my body hates me. So, it's going to be an interesting training cycle. These marathons are I mean, I had hopes of a PR at Tokyo, and now I'm more in the boat of I just want to enjoy it, which I think maybe was probably a little bit wishful thinking in the first place because we've talked a little bit about like the getting your hopes up for such a big event and how like you can put too much pressure on something that's supposed to be like really special or really cool or whatever. And so I don't really want to do that. But also I have to run a little bit fast in the beginning. So I think it's not setting me up for a good good chance for a PR anyways, because I kind of have to purposely not negative split in order to not get cut, I think.
I was gonna say,
Anywho.
don't you have to kind of be like at that level? Like you kind of would, I don't want to say have to PR to finish it, but not get or
Yeah.
make the gauntlets, but
No, so the cutoff is 7 hours, but it's 7 hours from the first person
yeah.
that crosses the just basically at my current PR-ish as it is. Um, but because they say that it takes about 30 minutes for everyone to go because it's kind of just like the Wild West. Everyone just like goes when the gun goes off. And so that does basically give me 6.5 hours, which is basically my PR. I think it's gonna be okay, but I also have to run, like, my half marathon pace for the first, like, 10 miles because the cutoff doesn't work like an even split
Yeah.
the way you think it would at, like, Disney, like, you fall behind your pace bike or pace car or whatever. They have, like, checkpoints along every, like, 5K-ish, where if you don't make it to that spot by that time, then you're swept, and it's not the cutoff time. I think you have to make it to, like, 7 miles, which is just past 10K, in what ends up equating to, like, an 11 something pace, which is way faster than the 16-ish, no, 15 something minute mile that it equates to for the actual time. I've done the math. There's a spreadsheet. I don't have it in front of me right now. It's fine. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to run fast for the first 10 miles, and then I'm just a little worried. I'm a little worried about that. There's a lot of things to be worried about, but it's gonna be great. Even if it sucks or I don't finish, I'm gonna be in Japan with my hubby and my family, so it's gonna be great.
I like that. I have like 19 follow-ups just so you know. Because as we know that even when I'm not doing my job, oh, do I love me a spreadsheet and facts and figures. Uh documenting thing, ooh, that just scratches an itch I got. Uh just deep in my soul.
Mhm.
But in terms of training on my end, eventually I'll stop vague posting and like maybe get like slight less vague, but not entirely into it. Of like when I just keep saying like things are thinking, they're not going great. I'll eventually stop vague posting with it, and because I do think it's worth a more serious conversation about some of what's going on without like kind of also like not even over disclosing, but talking about without like doing so responsibly, knowing that I am not a healthcare professional. I count beans for a living. The runnings, when it happens, it's okay.
Mhm.
But again, I ran a marathon 2 months ago, so in terms of I gotta level with myself in terms of
Mhm.
where my training is. So I do hope to get in. I don't know. I have to even look at what the temperatures look like this weekend. Like some kind of like longer distances, like so I have like something more on my legs. Like doing
Mhm.
it was like 17.75 on Thanksgiving was pretty good. And that
Mhm.
felt good to have that much and like feel pretty okay after that, after a couple days of running in a row. But I'd like to get some like a pretty good pretty good mileage in, whether it's this weekend or next weekend. I don't like being in the wild west, by the way. Like I feel like
No.
I feel like I need because so when
It
I like
stresses us all out, not just you.
yeah, that I'm not running, it stresses me that I'm also just like free balling it. Yeah, that stresses me out. Actually, it's on a scale of 1 to like how many days since my last run, how stressed out do you think I am? Um, but like how stressed are you for me in a way? But yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
What would be good? I think it would be a really good episode topic for us to discuss, like, the balance. We've tried to do in the past, we tried to do an episode on, like, balance, like work-life balance, all the things that happen in life balance, but I think it would be really cool if we could find, like, a sports psychologist or someone to come on and like talk about that, and like we could
Yeah.
discuss our lives in hopefully a non too oversharey way,
Mhm.
but so in a way that like helps us help you guys, and it's like healthy for everybody.
See, I have to keep like a certain curtain on the thing because y'all know I'm gonna overshare. That's the thing is that you ask like that third follow up question. Like I'm like, all right, this is what happened to my butt cheeks on that run. This is what happened. This is how I chafed. So like I try to keep that curtain of like respect for myself. Uh And the thing is, like, I do think it's important. In a serious note, I do think it's important to note, and also, again, social media is a highlight reel. A lot of things, you look at people and how they're, it's all a highlight reel. Like, I do think that there is a lot of power to being vulnerable. It's just like there's there are some things, but I think there's a way to speak about it responsibly. I just haven't exactly ironed out how I want to do that yet, but so I think there's like quality of life improvements
Hmm.
um that are, rolling through. So
Love that for you.
I do too. I think we're going to get some other things settled too with that. But it is funny. I do think almost like a comparison episode to like where we were a year ago
Oh
or
gosh.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's, the prophecy of like it'll all come together. I do like a fit person. Like as much as I have whined to Mr. Natalie about, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like I'm out of shape. Like I'm not. I'm really not. Like I do more than I give myself credit for. And also, again with like all the other things going on, it's like sometimes just waking up, getting through my day is enough. And with a smile on my face is enough. But I do hope to get a little bit more running in because now a lot of our ice is gone too. Because that's been hard too. We don't have a treadmill,
Mm-hmm.
so when I have to go to the treadmill, it's in the basement gym at my job. So I have to. It's either before work or I have to drive to my job on a day off, which I've done.
Yeah.
I've done it. I have done it, but I gotta say, like in terms of like just getting out and running, like that's when it's icy out. Like I will not mess with that. Like you don't finish your marathon by breaking your ankle a month before.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, at least you don't do it healthily. I know dopey gonna dopey for some people, but you don't like but most of our ice is gone. So actually I think all of the ice is gone. And I'm sure it'll be returning soon with more precipitation from the sky that freezes. But for now, I'm hoping to get out. I'm hoping to actually just get out and do some running. Also kind of maybe I keep threatening that like I'm not gonna I just need to put like a piece of paper or tape over my watch so it stops
Hmm.
stressing me out. Um
The Garmin be Garmining.
oh, the Garmin is my biggest hater. Like there's a couple that are up there, but that is my biggest hater. It's like this is a tempo run. I'm like, oh my god, I was trying to make it easy pace. And it's not one of those like hee tee hee. No, I literally was going easy pace and it said it was a tempo. Good. No. No, that can't be. That's not my tempo pace. But yeah, there are seasons that you change. Where are seasons with life and stuff. I did book my flight for marathon weekend though.
Good for you.
I know. I this is this is early for me
I
because I
still
did it
haven't
last
booked my
week.
hotel, so
Yeah.
we will see.
So how many days till that marathon? By the way.
Well, we have 29 days until marathon weekend 2026. I'm really cutting it close. You have on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5K to marathon distance has a 30-minute run, 30 to 45 minutes for Goofy, and 45 minutes for Dumbo. We are on training week 7.
Dumbo.
Did I say Dumbo?
You did say Dumbo. No, I wasn't
Dopey.
calling you Dumbo. Oh.
Guys, I had a misspeak last week also about Disneyland. So
She's hype about Disneyland for not being there.
I think I just always have Halloween on the brain. We still had our like fall Halloween decorations up until this past weekend. So uh 45 minutes for Dopey. It is training week 7 for the 5K. You have a 3-mile long run. It is training week 11 for the 10K, and you have a 5.75-mile long run. It is training week 14 for the half. Both the beginner and experienced plans have a 12.5-mile long run. You're on training week 24 for marathon, goofy, and what is it? Dopey, not Dumbo. The beginner plan has a 6-mile long run. The beginner 10-week plan has 3 to 5. I don't know. Pick your poison, I guess. See how you're feeling. The experienced plan has 7 miles. Goofy has 7 miles. And say it again, Dopey has 7 miles. We have 51 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Got it right. You have 30 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays if you are not running the challenge, and 30 to 45 if you are. We are on
And
training
what's
week
that challenge?
4.
It's Dumbo. Sorry.
It's Dumbo.
So cute.
We are on week 4 for the 5K with a 30-minute long run. Week 10 for the 10K, also a 30-minute long run. And week 11 for the half and challenge. Hey, Dumbo. Beginner is 3 miles, and the experience plan is 4 miles. The challenge is also 4 miles. We have 79 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Again, if you've got not the challenge, 30 minutes, and if you do, 30 to 45 on Tuesday and Thursday. We are on training week 6 for the 10K. Don't worry, 5Kers, you're almost there. And for the 10K, you have a 30-minute long run. We are on training week 7 for the half and challenge. That's the fairy tale challenge if you were curious. The beginner plan has 3 miles. The experience plan has 3 miles. And the challenge plan, what is it? 3 miles. We have, I'm sorry, I'm so annoying. We have 128 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. Your proof of time deadline is quickly approaching of January 5th, 2026. It is almost a new year, people. And training week 1 for the 10 miler begins next week. So get ready. We have 317 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Now, tell us the news, Natalie. What do we have?
Oh, I'd love to. This sounds like a very exciting thing for a lot of people. I was excited too. But Bluey and Bingo will begin meeting at Disney's Animal Kingdom starting in summer of 2026. They'll be at the conservation station. Now, this is not the only place that Bluey and Bingo from the hit TV show Bluey are going to. Disneyland starting on March 22nd of 2026. And then they're going to be on the Disney Dream starting in February of 26, and then the Disney Wish starting June of 2026. So if you got Bluey fans at home, you are in luck. You are chosen. You are, balling out, maybe crying too. I don't know. But very exciting to see them come into the parks. And we did get Oogie Boogie Bash dates announced for 2026. This is the Halloween party over at Disneyland Resort. Occurs at Disney's California Adventure. I did think this was really funny that we got these before we got next season over in Disney, because usually they wait till like halfway to Halloween to announce dates. But Disney announced a bunch of different, a lot of the news was like kind of like breadcrumbs of like, and not like specific dates. So it's like Buzz Lightyear will reopen in spring 2026. I'm like, okay, great. Happy to hear that. But like, when is spring 2026, right? Like that's a wide range versus, or like, in 2020, early 2026 is when the Frozen animatronics are getting replaced in Epcot. It's like, okay, great. Love that. Love to have some news, but like a date? Anyway, but this is the most dates ever that Oogie Boogie has had, and one of the earliest that it's ever started, because it'll start on Tuesday, August 18th. Usually it doesn't start until a little bit later. And it pretty much runs every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday up until the week of Halloween. I actually might try to get tickets to go out to Oogie Boogie because
Ooh.
I'll still be a key holder in for
Ah.
some of those August dates. Might squeeze in one little trip to go because they have a Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And if I can just kind of take Monday off and fly home that day, that's not too bad of a
We should
plan.
check how I'm feeling about wedding planning at that point because, like, we could just pretend it's a late birthday thing.
Yes, done. Say less. I'm there. Like, I'll fly down to Atlanta. I'll pick you up in Atlanta, and we'll just fly out to the
That's
West
so
Coast.
much backtracking for you.
Yeah, it kind of is. But bigger planes. I've taken the flight from Atlanta to LAX a couple of times before, and bigger, cooler planes.
Mhm.
So you know that there's.
Opportunity for different trading cards.
Oh, that's so true. Well, Hannah's in first because she has cool status, and I don't anymore. But I do have some. I have enough. I have enough to get me by. Um,
I'm
enough that.
losing all that status next year. It's a
Uh,
bummer.
yeah, that is a bummer. It's especially when when you're like platinum and you're not platinum anymore. It's like, oh damn, like
Yeah, I
that's
know.
it's a loss. But I am happy to I'm happy to sit in peasant debt in silver. Um, works
Be
for when I need
joining
it
you.
to. Woo! No, it's great, but it's exciting to see the Oogie Boogie Bash dates and how there's going to be so many of them. I know that that's like always a dumpster fire to get tickets for.
Mm.
Um, War flashbacks. Not that I've actually participated in that, but I just remember it's like Run Disney level registration for tickets. So
Mhm.
spooky, but it's a spooky time of year.
What about a fun fact? Do you have one of those?
Oh, I got one. I actually got two. But
Ooh!
on this day in 1992, the National Hockey League awards Disney a hockey franchise. This team will become known as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Quack, quack. And then on this day in
Sorry. Delay.
uh, on this day in 1999, Elton John and Tim Rice's Aida, was Disney's first stage musical not based on an animated film, officially opens at the Cadillac Palace Theater in Chicago.
What is that one about?
Oh, I'd love to tell you. Based on this description that I have here. Based on Giuseppe Verdi's story of a tragic love triangle in which a Nubian princess is captured by an Egyptian warrior who falls in love with her instead of his betrothed Egyptian princess. Disney's production features 19 songs by John and Rice. This is a newly revised version, as Elaborate Lives, The Legend of Aida, had its world premiere at Alliance Theater in Atlanta, Georgia in
Woo!
1998. And then this did go to Broadway in
Oh, okay.
2000.
Interesting. Never heard of it, but interesting.
I didn't know all that much about it until last year at Princess. They were celebrating 30 years of Disney on Broadway, and they definitely had like a part of the set list was a song from Aida. I'm like, I've never heard of that before. So I did a little bit of
Hmm.
research into it. Oh, yeah. I think that this is part of what got Elton John his EGOT.
Oh, very cool.
It's going to be a long, long time till I touched a Rocket Man. Oh, because wait a minute. Wait a minute. Rocket Man, Pluto's in a rocket for the 5K. Boom. Marathon weekend event guide.
Great. I love your brain.
I have to live with it all the time, so it depends on the day. But I would love to see the filing cabinet and like the little SpongeBob's in my head and just see how was that pulled out of the filing cabinet at the exact right time. I don't know. I don't know.
The podcasting gods, the Disney gods wanted it,
Yeah,
and
they did.
so it is. You guys ready to hear all about the marathon weekend expo guide?
Tell us. My God,
the
that was recruitment flashbacks. Oh my God.
this is the episode. It is finally here. You guys eagerly await this episode every race weekend, and we are here for you. All right, the featured charity this year, or not this year, I guess this race weekend, is Blood Cancer United Team in Training.
So if that doesn't sound familiar to you, just know that Leukemia and Lymphoma Society did, I don't want to say rebrand, but it did go through a name
Oh,
change to Blood Cancer United Team in Training. So it is still the same charity that we've been supporting the last couple of years, just did a little bit of a retheme, a rebrand, if you will. But there is a whole page in the Expo event guide that talks a lot about the different work that Blood Cancer United does, and a lot of the, a lot of the research funding, where the research grants are going. And yeah, that's if you want to learn a little bit more, there's some videos as well, but definitely an awesome charity to support, our featured charity for the weekend.
Woo. All right, let's kick it off with some hours, shall we? So, in order to attend the expo, depending on the day, Wednesday, January 7th, you will have from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Thursday, January 8th, you will have from noon to 7 p.m. Friday, January 9th, will also be noon to 7 p.m. And Saturday, January 10th, will be 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. In order to get your bib, you will need your check-in pass. This will be available on Monday, January 5th, 2026, which is also your proof of time deadline for spring for no.
Yeah, for
Yes?
springtime. I'm
For
just laughing.
springtime.
At long last, there's two things to look forward to.
2 things on the same day. We can all speculate and spiral the day we need our proof of time deadline.
True.
Make sure you bring your printed or digital check-in pass along with a valid photo ID to get your bib. Yes, a photo of your photo ID will work. We have asked in the past on behalf of me, who thought they drove all the way to Orlando, Florida somehow without their wallet. But now you know. Take this as a reminder to go ahead and take that picture of your ID as backup. You need to go into your account and sign your waiver. Otherwise, you will need to fill out a paper one at the expo. For all of our international listeners, you have to sign a paper one anyways. So, sorry. Wish we could do something about that, but we're not that cool yet.
Indeed. Virtual queue for merchandise. This is only going to be in place on Wednesday, January 7th of 2026. There will be openings at 8:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. for the virtual queue. You can only join one time per day, but there are 2 openings. You can have up to 6 guests in one group. You access via My Disney Experience, and you will be able to get or see both like the Brooks shoes and the merchandise. They're both in the same building in the Advent Health Arena. What I want to know is that this is the first marathon weekend since we got Brooks shoes.
Mhm.
How is this going to affect the Expo Hunger Games?
I I feel like it's not gonna have as big of an impact as we think. I think it'll space it out a little bit because, like, I think the resellers will have to pick a little bit which thing they wanna prioritize.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if the shoes have been super I don't know. I don't check the resale market on the shoes, so I don't know what that looks like. But since they limit you to only getting your size, even if you wanted to buy all the shoes, I think that, like, limits it a little bit.
You know what's interesting
So, I
though?
still feel like the Hunger Games of, like, dopey swag is still gonna be pretty intense.
Yeah, this is me delusionally hoping that like enough people are like running to the Brooks shoebox that like you don't have to potentially have an elbow thrown at you to get a dopey tank, but it's going to be what it's going to be. But this just made me think is that supposedly like with the Brooks shoes, like we're going to get the new like standard one, right? Like probably like
Mhm,
get rid of the yellow in the colorway, like the newer colorway of the core collection.
mhm,
They said that the Ghost Max 2s are being retired to the Mickey Mini.
mhm.
So we're going to have our new like kind of like standards for the rest of the season. God help us. God help us with whatever if they decide to do a dopey pair of shoes. God help us. God help my wallet first of all, but God help us. Um
That might be a shoe that I buy even though I'm not doing dopey this year. I could do that. I've ran it before.
well yeah,
Hopefully, it doesn't have the year on it.
as somebody who recently acquired a pair of Disneyland Halloween, it was just in the sole of the shoe where it had like it had the weekend, like, with the date. I don't even know if the date was
Oh.
on there, but, like, the specific, like,
Mhm.
weekend merchandise or, like, the weekend logo is what I mean to
Mhm.
say. So, okay, I
This
guess
is
close
fully
enough.
Delulu because I don't even wear Brooks shoes anymore, but I could probably wear them for walking.
I fear what happens when they announce the shoe situation
Mm.
for because we're probably a couple weeks away from getting the, like, merch preview, probably
Mhm.
next week, week after, and that I usually they don't do the shoes until, like, right before, but you never know. You never know,
Mhm.
um, what they're going to do with that. But I am so interested to see how, like, can you imagine, like, all 7 dwarves on a little shoe? I would die. I'd need them. I already mentally have planned, like, I'm gonna buy them. I'm gonna buy them, I think, probably. Like, they would have to be, like, stilettos, and, like, I'm actually not gonna wear them at all to, like, for me not to, which, like, I think I feel pretty good about that not being the case because we're at, like, a race weekend,
Mhm.
but they would maybe have to be well, no, I would buy Crocs because then I would just wear the Croc.
Oh, I
I
would be
would
all about a Croc.
rock out with your Croc
I'm
out, man.
more about a Croc than a running shoe.
Yeah, true.
Disney, please, please make dopey Crocs.
They do have certain,
They already make other characters
they do.
Crocs and stuff, so just make a dopey one.
I did pop into the Croc outlet, near my house when I went Black Friday shopping, just because I was I whenever I see a Lightning McQueen Croc, it just makes me laugh because I hear like, when people are like, "I gotta put it in sport mode." So, like, the idea of, like, putting Lightning McQueen in sport mode too, like, when you put your, like, strap down, like,
Mhm.
that even makes me that just tickles me. So I just, oh man, we're screwed, in the best way possible. One thing to note about Brooks shoes is that you can't use any kind of no discounts apply. So you
Mhm.
will have to use, like, a card, like, you can't charge it to your room. You will just have to kind of pay up front for it. There is no discount. Your AP discount doesn't apply. I don't think any coupons apply. So within the Brooks shoebox, but
And the refund policy is different on the race shoes.
oh,
Mhm. They tend to not keep, any, like, back stock, so if there ends up being any issues with your shoe, you're probably gonna end up with, like, a credit rather than being able to exchange, and then I have heard we should fact check, but that the like, refund exchange policy is different.
there is an area for you to try on the shoes. It's not like the specific shoes, but it's like, if it's a Ghost Max, probably we're on 3 right now, but, like, I if there's an Adrenaline 25 or, whatever, they have, like, kind of generic ones for you to try on, get the fit for it, get the feel for it, and then they'll give you a piece of paper that you have to have in order to buy shoes, that notes, like, what your size is, if your size differs between the different models of the shoes that they have. So, like, if you get wides in one and not the other for some reason.
It says I've looked up so I'm on the Brooks website. Under their specifically their books not books, Brooks by Run Disney frequently asked questions, and it says, "What if I want to return my Run Disney product? All purchases from the Run Disney Health and Fitness Expo are not eligible to be returned for a refund. If you are interested in an exchange, please reach out to our runner experience team, and we will do our best to get that taken care of. This is a limited release, so we cannot guarantee a replacement with the same size/color of a Run Disney product. If you purchase the product from brooksrunning.com, our Run Happy promise applies." So if you buy the shoes at the expo, they are yours.
Yeah.
You can exchange for something else, like if they end up being the wrong size, but they do make you try them on. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but that is a risk you take. Generally, Brooks products are really good. So it's like not like a high risk, but I just figured we
Yeah.
should throw that out there because it's not like if you bought Brooks, like they said, from their website or from your local running store.
True, true. Yeah, that is so interesting. Oh man. I'm still thinking of the concept of, like, little dopey. Oh my god, if his buck tooth is on there, I'm dead. They're gonna just, like, sleep in my bed with me, I think. Uh,
They should make little, I'm a big fan of the what are they called? The little, like, magnetic hand creatures that you can put on your bags.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. If they
If
make
they made a
dopey.
I mean, so they did once upon a time. There are some
Mhm.
people that have them, but they got rid of them. I feel like they should bring them back for race weekends, like, of the characters and, like, sell them at the race weekends.
Literally, like, that would be printing money because, you know, it's you put your
Mhm.
little, like, metal replica on there. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Because we need more ways for Disney to separate us from our dollars. Speaking of that kind of or sort of, transportation for the expo begins 30 minutes prior to the expo open and ends 30 minutes after it closes. And your transport is going to be through charter bus, not like Disney transportation.
Mhm.
And where more dollars come into play is that if you're like me, you have Club Run Disney, you will need to get yourself to the expo for your early shopping windows. That email is sent to you in the last week or so, and I always have to take a lift there. So,
Yeah.
so take a lift to the expo. Worth it to get your early shopping done, IMO. But um, in terms, you want to take some of the disclaimers about the
Oh,
bibs.
yeah. We write these in all caps because they're very serious. You must pick up your bib the day before your race. Now, here's the caveat. Technically, there is written relations or whatever. So there's a slight chance that you may be able to, in an emergency situation, pick up your bib the morning of. Highly do not recommend because you signed the terms and conditions thingy when you signed up that said you would be there the day, at least the day before your race, to pick up your bib. So you could show up and they could be like, no, sorry, you can't run. So if it is at all within your power, pick up your bib the day before your race. You also cannot pick up a bib for someone else unless they are a minor. So, like, if Ben,
Who's who's Ben again?
my husband, if he decides, like, we're going, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to go check out this thing, and we get separated, I can't pick up his bib for him. Or if he like the first time we tried to go to a weekend together, we tried to fly to Orlando and I could have theoretically gotten on a plane without him because he was stuck in security. I didn't do that, but we have an agreement now that if we get separated in an airport, I am to go to the destination without him.
Never
So if we had
forget.
been separated and he didn't make it to Orlando till a day or two after me, I could not pick up his bib for him. Just think about that.
Yes. I just back to the don't plan on emergency big bib pickup as
Yeah,
your
do
your
not.
plan A. Please don't. Just remember that marathon weekend last year was
Oh
Chipgate.
my gosh.
So if you were not there, don't really remember, just know that there, a lot of people had chip problems. Track Shack mischipped them. They messed up the chip. Or they didn't, I think they didn't activate the chip was, I don't know. Regardless
Something
to say,
happened.
is that basically overnight there was, or like in the afternoon overnight, there was an email before that from the 5K into the 10K of, oh shoot, like you have to go get your bib thing checked. And let me tell you, I think it was like dopey. I think it was basically bibs over 26 thousand. So Hannah and I weren't affected. Ben either. But
Mm-mm.
if your bib number was above that, pretty much like you needed to go get your bib checked, if not retagged. So keep in mind that, dopies have to do all 4 days to be finishers. And so if you plan on that as your plan A and there's some sort of issue, whatever going on in the sphere of things, you're not going to have a good time because you're also you're going to be in line with a lot of other people who, you know, they were told you need to go to runner relations in the morning and get your bib checked. So that is a more extreme example, to be fair, of what can go wrong. But let's talk a little bit about the expo map because I
Please
always do
do.
a little analysis, okay,
Make sure
on
you do a
that.
visual descriptor.
Oh yes. Well, you have pictures in the event guide, but I'm going to start with kind of how sequentially you should go through them, uh, for a reason. So I'm going to start with where you get your bib, which is the State Farm Field House, and you will have your bib there. The expo floor, or the floor, it's awesome. It's so cool to see all the different people, and like the one singular little tiny desk for Goofy always makes me laugh. Because Goofy, it's usually about like 1,200 to 1,500 bibs, but There are photo ops that will be in here, runner relations, athletes with disabilities, Run Disney account services booths are all in here. We have photo ops and character greetings. They call it game day, which is kind of fun. This is where like the generic Run Disney ones are supposed to be, as per what the expo guide says. But you got to get your bib here, and the top of your bib will have your different tag to go get your shirts. One thing to note that if you are doing the Dopey Challenge is historically we have gotten 2 different bibs, one for the 5K, 10K, one for the half marathon and full marathon. They are noted as to which one you're supposed to wear on which on which days. There is a little
Mhm.
5K, 10K slash the other one that doesn't have that. And they're kind of like swapped colors, or they're different
Mhm.
colors. They're not the exact same color to make it even more confusing, but just kind of pay attention to that. Next, you're going to go to the athletic center, which is where you get your shirts and all the other vendors. The shirt exchange there looks like there's like 2 slots for it, which is cool. Looks like there are charity booths in here, which is a little different from Wine
Ooh.
and Dine. Neither of us are running for charity this race weekend, so in terms of some intel, I just can only share what I've observed from the event guide. And I realized, okay, the distance photo ops will be in here according to the event guide. And they say food
That's
and
gonna be
beverage.
chaotic.
Yes, it will.
It's always so there's very minimal walking space to begin with in that building, and then to add things that are gonna need a queue. Oof.
Oh boy. So they say food and beverage. There's no clarification on beer cup gate. That's all I got for you. I don't know if they finished that construction upstairs too, where they usually have like the fun, like themed foods that like always really slap. Um, but something I realized we didn't bring up about Wine and Dine when we did it was the Badugo cookie gate.
Oh my gosh, how dare they?
We were so focused on the beer cups that we didn't even bring up that. So what it used to be was that they would just basically give you like handfuls of these wafer cookies. Okay. You would go like, and they'd see you go by multiple times. They would just give you more. It was in a vending machine. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, whatever. But you actually, like, I don't want to say you actually had to pay for it, but like,
You had to pay for it
what?
instead of it being free. Give me my free cookies!
Let me tell you, I was hankering for something sweet. And then I was like, okay, like I can wait in this line to go. I was like, wow, there's like nobody at this thing. Mostly people like just walk by and get cookies. I was sad.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, we'll live. I'll live, but I did live. I did survive to tell the tale. Although the running hasn't been good since, so maybe that was it. I don't know. I don't know. Conspiracy theory time. Conspiracy theory time.
Oh.
I was powered by the Vidoko cookies that didn't exist before like a year and a half ago in my eyes. I don't know, but I,
We'll see
I
if the vending machine returns or if the severe outrage changed their minds.
I think we're all too busy complaining about the beer cups still to
I don't
focus
know.
on
I
much
heard a
more.
lot of people upset about the cookies, like, when we were there in person. Just
Ah,
we forgot to tell you guys about it.
true, true. Well, because at Disneyland they were just giving you the fistfuls of cookies. It was great. Got so many different flavors. Should have saved them. Should have savored them. All right. The next building, the final building that you'll go to, is the Advent Health Arena. This is where the Hunger Games occurs. And
Even
if you're
Hunger Games shaped.
true that it is an arena. Um, so one thing that I found was really interesting, and this does tie into the building we were just talking about, is there's the Charity Welcome Center. This is listed in the event guide. And this is something that got brought back for Wine and Dine per me asking my charity because I'm like, I don't remember this. So there was this area. I mean, if there is the Charity Welcome Center and it's applicable, got like a goodie. I got my goodie bag for my charity from there. Some of them mail them to you or have like different or drop them off at your resort. So if this is something that's applicable to you, you will get an email from your charity if you have something to pick up there. And just to fact check myself really quickly is I got that email like the week of the race. So that might be something that is still coming for you. I was also a little bit of a late register though, so that might be why mine came at that point. But there are some different charity booths that are in the athletic center. So I am interested, like which ones are which, like
Mhm.
who might be in this charity welcome center versus who, well, I know who's probably not in this charity welcome center. It's probably the ones that have their own booths there. But I am interested. Keep your eye on your email. Look out for different communications from your charity in order to be up to date. Um, and if you are running for a charity and you know that you will have like something to pick up at at the charity welcome center, let us know. Keep my nose to the ground for a little bit of intel there.
Let's go over the courses. So we're going to go over the quick stats, and then Natalie will actually talk us through the route. So for the 5K, you have one water stop. This is very normal. There's no food. There's only medical at the start and finish. And the, random people on bikes and supervising and such. For the 10K, there are 3 water stops, 2 medical stops, the first being just before mile 2, and the second being near the 3.5 mile mark near the Swan and Dolphin. This is the same course as Wine and Dine from this year. So Natalie can give some more feedback. She liked it.
So this is like an elite 10K course. I'm really hyping this up. But so I'd say that I joked back for Wine and Dine that I was like, we all said that the Disneyland 10K course is the best course ever. And then they said,
They said,
hold my
"Hold my
beer.
beer."
They said, hold my cookie. I'm not giving you for free anymore. So you start out, you have your highway miles, and by mile 2, you are in Epcot. This is a little, no, I wouldn't say aberrant, but most of the 10K courses, you pretty much would be getting just to the 3 mile mark when you were getting into the parks. This is awesome. You enter near mission space, not spaceship Earth. That's where you exit. You enter your mission space. You make your full loop around World Showcase. But you head out to the boardwalk, you run the boardwalk, then you go to the Yacht and Beach Club, and then you head back into Epcot. I kind of like this whole what the backstage kind of motion is that if you've run the half marathon courses, the ones that, well, they all end at Epcot, but you know how that big loop you make like backstage, like before you get in near Figment, and then those blessed bathrooms that if you really have to pee, so you kind of like run that backwards. So you run like by Figment and then you go backstage to get to mile 5, and then you do go back into the parks. I love this course. I really, really think it's one of the best courses we've had for a 10K at Walt Disney World. I think it's just phenomenal. High praise coming from O'Malley over here.
And did you want to say anything about the 5K since I just like sped along past that? It's basically you run through Epcot.
Yes, you make your full circle tour around the World Showcase. It's our pretty standard 5K course, which is also incredible.
Then for the half, we have 9 water stops. The first one is only water. Everything else after that also includes Powerade. So if you do the math, that means there's 8 Powerade stops. We have 1 food stop and 6 medical stops. There's about 3 miles between each of the tents or less than, so you don't have to go very far to find one. And it is the standard half course for Marathon Weekend / Princess, but with the backwards entry.
Yes, I guess this is like becoming the normal one at this point, but uh I'd still call it still backwards entry. For maybe this season, then next year I think it's probably going to go back to normal entry. But when I say that, it means that we are going up and passing the Polynesian and Grand Floridian before we go into Magic Kingdom versus going up through the Transportation and Ticket Center toward Contemporary. That we do after Magic Kingdom for this one. So I have a lot of faith that I know they've done a lot of the work near Shades of Green on widening that roadway. I have a lot of faith that based on feedback that we will have it nicely lit, but also like lit better. But I really hope that people like hyped up the electrical water pageant that was out near mile 5 as you're getting toward Magic Kingdom, because let me tell you, the absolute hype that was last year, like going into Magic Kingdom, LFG, like let's go.
Mhm.
It just really set the tone in the scene for like we're about to run into Magic Kingdom, but also you got the Baroque hoedown going. Oh man, I love it. I absolutely it was so good. I really, really fingers crossed hope they kept that because that was amazing. And then you go You make your trip down Main Street, USA. You turn left into Adventureland and you loop around that way. This is the same course as last year, but what's a little and I caught right away in comparing the course maps is that now because Tom Sawyer Island doesn't exist, much to Mr. Natalie's delight. Um, it's just what Disney does to the maps is they just like green that. They just put tree there.
Mhm.
So it was like something looks different. And that is what looks different. It's the same route. It's just that all that's greened out where there was like the waterway there before in the rivers of America. But
We get to stare at walls.
yes, that you do. Um, yes, get a little sneak peeks of the destruction. But we run through the castle after that and then exit through Tomorrowland. Again, I really like going through the TTC after Magic Kingdom.
Mhm.
I really like that. I know that we can talk about the parking lot, especially when we get to the marathon course, but I like going through it after because like you're on that high from the Magic Kingdom and then you also get more of a spectating thing. Like, you have more people that are cheering and you're still hype and like yes, you got to go back out to the highway, but it's really like, "Oh man, this is awesome."
Yeah.
So, and then we go down World Drive, make our loop de loop and, kind of relatively standard exit to our end to the half. But if this is your first castle half, oh man, you're in for a treat. I will say at the start of this course that like your first mile or so is like it's a little squeezy. It's a
It's
little
bad.
squeeze way. In terms of the casual or this is where the cash walk originated. Uh
For me, it wasn't even just the first mile. It was like we made it to the highway. There was a bunch of on-ramps and it was squeezy.
Ooh, yeah, because once you get to like the 4-lane highway, it's like, oh thank God. You got some elbow room, but um it's definitely a special one. And just so you know, if you are doing Goofy or Dopey specifically, you are on World Drive headed toward Epcot in that banked curve when you officially have 30 miles left to go of your challenge. Nobody found that quite as funny as I did. I wonder why.
So rude.
It's not even like, honestly, it wasn't even me just trying to be snarky. It was me like, woo, we only got 30 miles left. Yay. It's like, oh my God, why are you like this? Um, it wasn't even me trying to be like, it was me trying to be funny, but like not trying to be snarky, just like, woo, 30 miles to go.
Mhm.
Because that's just, you gotta only at some points. You gotta only at some points,
Yeah.
even though there's no logic to that.
For the marathon, we have 19 water stops. Only the first one is exclusively water, so that leaves 18 Powerade stops. We have 5 food stops at mile 6.5, 13.5, about 17 and a quarter, 21 and a half, and 23 and a quarter. That's going to be bananas generally. One of whatever the sponsored fuel is, which might be Honey Stinger Chews again.
Honey Stinger, banana, Honey Stinger cookie,
Okay.
which makes sense.
That tracks better. Yeah.
Because I feel like they usually have a banana stop near Animal Kingdom. And then also usually they don't do bananas in the Blizzard Beach parking lot. They do usually some like whatever, if it's
Mhm.
beans or
And
the
if it's cold
stinger.
enough, your first banana might be frozen.
True. So if you need an ice pack. Um
There's also 14 medical stops. So if you have any issues whatsoever, you should be good to go. The longest stretch is 4 miles, so you do go a little over a 5K without a medical between 13 and 17 when running to DAC from TTC. Do we have the same issue as last year though, where technically they're not that far away from each other, even if it's technically not on the route?
yes.
There's like a loop-de-loop spot. You get pretty close to a med stop, even though it's not on your part of the of the race course.
Yes. So there's actually two spots like this on the marathon course where I innocently like to call them basically our contingency points of like if they, God forbid, needed to shorten the marathon course, guess what? They unfortunately what they would cut DAC, they would cut Blizzard Beach, not as unfortunately for that. Or basically like we kind of, you just pretty much shoo.
Mhm.
So I would really recommend that if you need to visit either of these two medical stops specifically, is that you return to the course in which you came from. and the mileage that you came from.
That's the reward. That's the unique part of the course.
Yeah, imagine like going through Bear Island Road, which also if they Star Wars it again, I'm gonna lose it because it's gonna be awesome. But imagine going through all that, running by the sewer treatment plant, and then going, nah, I'm gonna just go to Moore Highway. I'm going to Western Way. I'm skipping deck. No. Beyond the fact that I do suspect that we will see a like mile 17 timing mat
Mm-hmm.
this year. I do think. Well, yeah,
I
I
think
don't
they're
know.
getting sneaky.
I think it might be like a mile 18 mile timing mat once you exit. So this is the only real change also in the course is that we're going to exit behind Finding Nemo near the Nemo bathrooms of both Mr. Natalie and Hannah's Nightmares.
It was so good until I got hit in the head.
Yeah, Mr. and Natalie saw war crime in there. And but that's where we exit and where we do make a little bit more mileage in the TTC parking lot to kind of make up for what because there is not really Dino Land to run through anymore. And also, yes, by that point of the marathon, is Blizzard Beach really annoying to go through? Like a little.
Not as much as the TTC parking lot.
Ooh. Yeah. See, I
No.
don't know. I
Uh-uh.
was oh, ooh, what do you
That
all right,
parking lot
fight,
is
fight, fight,
so
fight,
much
fight.
worse than Blizzard. The TTC parking lot that they have that you run past the 20K mark in is so much worse than everyone builds up Blizzard Beach as this awful place. That is not true. It's sure. Is it annoying that you have to go into a parking lot after running down the most boring piece of highway ever? Yes, but that highway is worse than the parking lot. And then if we keep working our way back, that TTC parking lot is just rude, evil. Not a fan.
So funny. I love the passion here. Also also
That's
I
the
would
hell
kind of
I'm gonna die on.
I love it. I love it. So my beef with like the Blizzard Beach parking lot area. First of all, the parking lots in Anaheim are worse. And secondly, is just that little blip where you gotta just like where you're looping around like a median and you see everybody. It's not like the
Mm.
parking lot seeing people like kind of like, across the parking lot from you. It's that little blip around the dang median. And you're like, oh my God, I'm like moving backwards right now. That is the worst part of the Blizzard Beach parking lot versus I feel like the TTC parking lot, at least there's a little less of that because like you can kind of see it, but I also like, I don't know. I was
No.
absolutely last year cooking. I was
You were.
cooking. And so I didn't spend enough time in the TTC parking lot
No.
to let it hurt me.
The TTC parking lot goes against everything that Disney is about and the Disney design of not letting you see where you're going in the queue. The TTC parking lot is where dreams go to die. Especially because I had to run past the 20K mark twice and I didn't know which one was real. So that was really demotivating.
Oh yeah, true dad. That was
And
I
my
was like,
feet hurt.
oh. I was like, dang, which one is it? Like, I don't know. And that's how I ran a really accidentally really fast split that I paid for later. But you do get snack at the end. Also, if this is your first time running the Walt Disney World Marathon and running this course specifically, it does look like there's areas where like you overlap. You don't some people are up I believe that yeah, it's going into Magic Kingdoms is on the overpass. You if you're heading toward Animal Kingdom are under it. So there isn't actually that overlap area. Just to specify, dreams or take a TC where dreams go to die. As I like to say, and if you're doing your like last long runs in the next couple of weeks, I don't want to say the race is over when you get to Hollywood Studios, but like once you get into Hollywood Studios, like I like to be like mentally, I'm like, we're good. Like you're gonna have so much more, have fun stuff to look at. You're backstage and you're Fantasmic. You get another snack. You exit and you have crowds and you have a lot of excitement. So in terms of like, in terms of like the mental game of it, you're good. Yes, our World Showcase loop is at the beginning and not the end. I am going to die on my hill that I almost like it better.
No, I agree. By the time I get to the end, I do not need a full loop of the showcase.
And I have done it. Like I've done it this will be, I mean, now I'll be even keeled with or for my marathons, but I gotta say, when I was at mile 25, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not. I thank God I only have a mile, like 1.2 to go, and I'm not going all the way around World Showcase. I was hurting. I was hurting bad. At that point, we were in the pain cave. We were we were going postal. We were doing a lot of things. I'm like, thank God. For this last year for the 2025 marathon, so I can't say I really mind it that much. I mean, also, like, we're gonna have some friends camped out in the UK pavilion for shenanigan purposes, so that also benefits us.
We have a lot of drink mules planned.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, it's I was happy to see last year's course. I think that, ooh, if I had to rate this is closer to my first marathon course back in 23 than it is the second one I did. Um, I personally like when we're looking at, I mean, I think relevant question or relevant commentary is the whole Everest of it all. If you're planning on riding Expedition Everest or like rides in general, disclaimer is that what happens in the past doesn't necessarily guarantee what's going to happen in the future. Thank you, Yoda. But in terms of only one time when I have run the Walt Disney World Marathon so far, has the single rider line been open for runners exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first marathon. They sent a whole train of runners. I walked on. The next year, I know that they were having some issues with opening. It also dumped rain. So they weren't sent, they did not have single rider open for runners. You had to go through the standby. I left the line after a couple minutes. Last year, I don't think, do you remember what it was last year? Because
Last year,
I
it
was
definitely
I was
wasn't
cooking.
single rider, but I was hearing a lot of mixed
Yeah.
feedback from people, and it wasn't like there was some time cutoff. It was just purely like, which cast member did you run into? Because
Yeah.
some, they just like, you had a bib on, they weren't even going to let you get in line, period. Some, it just kind of varied, and it was very hit or miss because like it wasn't. Some people were in, then some people weren't, and then some more people were let in, and it
Mhm.
was all over the place. There's no guarantees.
Yes. Definitely no guarantees. You can't try
Technically, we
to.
didn't buy park tickets, so like they can say we can't.
This is true. I've been up since 2 a.m.
And fighting
Uh,
them is not worth it because you don't want to get banned.
yes, for sure. So it being a little later in the course, around 17 and a half, actually probably 17 and three quarters, uh, is better for your chances of being able to ride if you're a really fast person. I think somebody,
Someone did the math, and it's like an 11 something if you're in Corral A in order to get to
yeah,
Everest.
well, basically, because people in Corral A, like, you can't overshoot it.
Mhm,
So people in Corral A, like, you have to, it's like a 10:30. I think you have to be slower than a 10:30 to make sure that you get there for early entry when the ride is opening
mhm.
and that you don't overshoot it. Um, in terms of the math for other corrals, yeah. Um,
Math it.
yeah, I mean, I anticipate starting in C based on my POT. I have not done the math because I'm gonna be just fine. If I somehow get like laser super speed out of some, God, I help me. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what happened to me if that happens. Just get me my Heelys or something. I don't know. There's pretty much no way I overshoot Everest. Let's just say that because I believe that when I passed it last year that they were taking riders at the time, but it's situational. I've heard that they've let you through lightning lane sometimes at Tower of Terror. Heard them let you through single rider sometimes at Rock and Roller Coaster, or sometimes through lightning lane. But I've also heard them not let you in at all. So the only way to really, I've heard some people will buy lightning lanes and
Mhm,
time them for when they think that they will get there. Um, and there's not been a problem with them trying to tap into the park or because they haven't tapped into the park yet. But your mileage may vary. Literally, you're probably going to weave a lot, but in terms of your plans there, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's like super marathon specific that we don't cover later in the guide that's related to the course. Uh, Don't really anticipate anything to be open in Magic Kingdom. One time during my first Dopey, they did have the carousel open for the half, and it has not happened since. So, because we definitely pass through pretty much through before the park opens. Like like there'll be some stragglers for early entry for like the last couple people before the balloons. So, don't anticipate anything being open in Magic Kingdom. And if I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong. If they are like, "Yes, get on Tron right now." Actually, no, that would that would be terrible. I don't know if I would get out if I had to like Tron pose after 30 something miles of dopey. I don't know if I would get off of that. Okay. But I don't know, maybe they put the ponies on and we have 2 pink pony rides that day. Anyway, I've talked a lot. Speaking of resort transportation times, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't have.
All right. So we got to put this out there. You decide what risk you're willing to take. But it is recommended that you arrive no later than 4 a.m. for the 5K, 10K, and half marathons, and no later than 3:30 a.m. for the marathon. Remember that the marathon starts earlier.
Yes.
So, in order to get to the race, if you are staying on property for the 5K, you have one and only option. That is the bus. I mean, unless you choose to lift or whatever. But if you're going with the provided transportation, which is what we're covering, you have one option, the bus. From resort to the start line, that bus will run from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And from the finish line back to the resorts is 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. So there is an hour and a half where the buses are not running. So this means if you're a really fast 5K runner, you may have some party time in the parking lot. And if you're a spectator, theoretically, that means if you miss the first slot, you may be there too late to see your runner. So make good choices, people. For the 10K, you also only have bus transportation. The resort to start time is the same from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And the finish line back to the resort is 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. So you get an extra 30 minutes. Don't miss your bus. For the half, you have 2 transportation options. So, buses, which run for all races. You're giving the face, but kind of you got 2 options.
You don't really have options because it's based on where you're staying, but continue.
Yeah, but, like, at this point, you already, hopefully, if you're not me, have booked your hotel so you don't have options. But the bus from the resort to the start line runs from 2:30 a.m. to 4:30 a.m., and the bus from the finish line back to the resorts is 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. There is no bus transportation for Magic Kingdom resort guests. So you will have to get on the monorail for these races, which has that always been that way?
For the half marathon, yes.
Okay. So, if you are staying at a Magic Kingdom resort, you will take the monorail. The monorail to Epcot begins running at 2:30 a.m. and the monorail to Magic Kingdom begins running at 4:30 a.m. For the full marathon, you also have the bus and the monorail. For the bus, resort to start is 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. and finish line back to the resorts is 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Again, 2 hour gap in bus transportation if you're trying to get to see your runner and you're spectating. You probably need to be on that 2 to 4 a.m. depending on where you want to spectate because you might not get anywhere for a very long time if you're not already at Epcot. The Magic Kingdom resort guests will have buses for the full marathon, and that transportation bus from Epcot is the transportation to Epcot is from 2 to 2:30 a.m. That is a very short window.
Yeah, so you're getting on a 2 a.m. bus, a 2:15 bus, or a 2:30, or you're going to the monorail. So this actually was different from last year, where I think, and I would say this is a valid complaint to be like, hey, like if I can't get to the race area until because security will probably open at 2:30, like I
Mhm.
can't get there till way after security opens. Like what the heck, right? So I do. This was an offering, just that half-hour sliver,
Mhm.
and then you have to go to that monorail after.
Yes. And the monorail to Epcot opens at 2:30 when the bus transportation stops, and the monorail to Magic Kingdom starts at 4 a.m. So that's when a lot of people, if you're a spectator, you will have taken probably a bus, maybe a monorail to Epcot, then you will wait And then, assuming you want to spectate either in Magic Kingdom on Main Street or at the TTC, you will take the monorail that direction and then back and whatever. I don't recommend trying to get to DAC during the marathon unless you don't want to see your runner at the finish line. That's a mess.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
If
Uh
you are driving yourself, though, or using personal transportation, that parking is free before 6 a.m. at Epcot. So you just have to get in before 6 and you're good to go. What about those projected start times, Natalie?
oh boy, oh boy. I love all the cutie graphics that they
They
had
are
on here.
really cute this year.
And then I had to pop them into the outline too because I liked them enough to put them in there. Also, it makes it easier for me to not have to type as much. Okay, anyway, 5K. We're gonna start here. We'll get to the start group open and close times, but I'm gonna go with your projected start time first. A disclaimer: they are approximate and may vary, are subject to change, and may be affected by inclement weather or race operations delays. Please listen to race announcements for any start time changes. And if you arrive after your start group has closed, you will be asked to join the next available start group. For example, aforementioned group A. You that is they start the corral is in the start chute. So you can't show up at 5:15 and then just kind of jump into the start chute. So anyway, your projected start time for if your group A is going to be between 5 a.m. and 5:05 a.m. Group B, 5:06 a.m. to 5:13 a.m. Group C, 5:14 a.m. to 5:19 a.m. Group D, 5:20 a.m. to 5:31 a.m. Note that this longer range implies that we are looking at a longer, or this is probably where the first non-POT ones start. I'm going to finish reading these off, and then I'm going to get to the point that I just literally had a thought bubble appear above my head. Group E is going to go from 5:32 a.m. to 5:43 a.m. Group F is going from 5:44 a.m. to 5:55 a.m. And Group G, Group Goofy, going from 5:56 a.m. to 6:08 a.m. Okay, thought bubble time. Something I didn't point out is that we have Group G all the way through the 5K. What I think might happen, they might not corral split. So usually what they
Mm.
do is because they have fewer corrals for the 5K, 10K than they do for the half full, is that you get one letter on your corral for the 5K, 10K, and then you get a different one for the half and full. Sometimes it is the same. But for example, last year I was A for the 5K and 10K, and then I was C for the half and full. But, the thought bubble that I had was in the middle of yapping was that group C is that small range versus group D then is the larger range. So are we keeping, I was asked for an estimated pace per mile specifically for the 5K, 10K for this race when I registered for Dopey. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to just kind of put you in the same corral for all of them. Um, Maybe they just have a big 5K field. And I don't know.
The 5K is kind of huge.
It is usually. If you're running Dopey, your basically it's just your completion is tracked. So you will but you will not, you don't have a timing chip on your bib if you aren't running Dopey. This is solely for the merit of, they just are tracking that somebody has actually completed all the races of Dopey. Man, I was like, I'll have to pull the outline from last year because now I'm really curious if if that's a surprise or not a surprise of the springtime variety. Okay, 10K. Same disclaimers as before related to start groups and projected start times. But your projected start time, if you are in Group A, you're 5 to 5:05 a.m. Group B, 5:06 to 5:13 a.m. Group C, 5:14 to 5:19 a.m. Woo! Same ones as the day before if you're running Dopey. Group D is 5:20 to 5:30 a.m. Group E is 5:31 a.m. to 5:45 a.m. Group F is 5:46 a.m. to 5:57 a.m. Group G is 5:58 a.m. to 6:06 a.m. So a couple small variations there. Going into the half marathon, projected start times. If you are Group A, you are starting between 5 a.m. and 5:03 a.m. Group B, 5:04 a.m. to 5:09 a.m. Group C, 5:10 to 5:13 a.m. Group D, 5:14 a.m. to 5:25 a.m. Group E, 5:26 a.m. to 5:38 a.m. Group F, 5:39 a.m. to 5:53 a.m. Group G, 5:54 a.m. to 6:06 a.m. And the marathon, as Hannah stated earlier. Just a reminder, it starts at 4:30. Your projected start time, if you are in Group A, 4:30 to 4:34 a.m. Group B, 4:35 a.m. to 4:40 a.m. Group C, 4:41 a.m. to 4:45 a.m. Group D, 4:46 a.m. to 4:56 a.m. Group E, 4:57 a.m. to 5:08 a.m. Group F, 5:09 a.m. to 5:20 a.m. And Group G, 5:21 a.m. to 5:28 a.m. It is interesting that I feel like most of the kind of slivers, I don't have a better way to describe it, are smaller for the marathon, right? Like
Yeah.
the widest one is like 11 minutes. Um,
I
that
don't know.
is
They just
interesting.
got they want you gone by the time we get to the
Yes,
marathon, and they want you. Yes, they want you gone.
I believe last year I started the marathon at like 4:42 a.m. So I don't know what I'm like sticking in that like I think it was 4:42 to 4:46 was my range last year for C. So got that minute back. Maybe I started around 4:43, but I don't know. I'm not doing that math right now. Not live. I think that they do. I think in reality they do usually have a little bit more time to release the last group and the balloon ladies. But they do plan under for it because there's a lot. I don't want to say there's a lot that can go wrong in 26.2 miles because that makes it sound unnecessarily negative. But in terms of contingency plans, if it's going to be humid, if they need to modify things, they do try to get you. They got us all out in 45 minutes for my first full, which is wild.
Speedy.
Yeah, literally everybody was out by 5:45 a.m. So drop dead time was 12:45 p.m. But speaking of corrals, you want to talk about when they open?
Sure. It's very simple. Unlike closing times, everyone has the same opening time. So for the 5K, all of the corrals open at 3:45 a.m. For the 10K, they also open at 3:45 a.m. Wow. And for the half, they open at 3:15 a.m. So you get an extra 30 minutes if you want to hang out in your corral. And for the full, the corrals open at 2:45 a.m., which is usually for the other races when I'm still in my room. So, dedication for some people. I don't care to be at the front of my corral anymore. So I hope you live your dreams.
Honestly, I would say that's a good point with the projected start times is that you can assess your risk and assess what you're actually going to get out of it. Like, are you going to benefit more from like 35 minutes or like 30 more minutes of sleep than like camping in your corral at 2:45 a.m.? Then
Yeah.
and sometimes those 11 minutes they mean something. Might make the difference for you just feeling comfortable to have enough time to pee. I
Or
get
the
it.
or if you get the anxiety that I used to get for a long time about whether or not my bus was going to get lost on the way to the race. Like, pick and choose your battles. Make sure
Yeah.
you are setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Lax Natalie to come in. Actually, I've gotten better, but for me, the marathon is the best. I am assuming I'm going to be in Group C. It's a pretty safe assumption at this point, but I would get 4 minutes max. And as derailed as training has been a little bit lately, I feel very comfortable with the idea of those 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I could make up the differential over 26.2 miles.
I was
I
still
think
like
I'm good.
gear check during marathon when they were singing the national anthem. So
Throwback. We want to talk
I
about
pretty chill.
when they close.
Yes, these are important, especially for the earlier corrals. So if you worked hard for that proof of time and you want to be in the corral that you got assigned to, listen up. For the 5K, Group A, your start group closes at 4:45 a.m. Group B, 4:50 a.m. Group C, 5 a.m. Group D, 5:05 a.m. Group E, 5:15 a.m. Group F, 5:25 a.m. and Group G, whenever the start line clears. I'm sorry to Natalie's mom that we're not using the A as an apple thing. I know that's not Apple, but I don't wanna
A as
struggle
in
again.
alpha.
Do you know they changed okay, but on that side note, sorry guys, um, did you know that they changed the thing on the plane train in a ATL?
What?
They still do say A is an alpha eventually, but they've added funny ones like A is an airplane, D as
What?
in dining, before they say later D for Delta. Anywho, if you're running the 10K, your corral for Group A closes at 4:45 a.m., Group B 4:50, Group C 5 a.m., Group D 5:05, Group E 5:15, Group F 5:30, and Group G the start line clears. For the half marathon, Group A closes at 4:45 a.m., Group B 4:50 a.m., Group C 4:55 a.m., Group D 5 a.m., E 5:10, F 5:20, and G start line clears. All right, let's get those early times for the marathon. So, if you're in Group A, your start group closes at 4:15 a.m. Group B, 4:20 a.m. Group C, 4:25 a.m. Group D, 4:30 a.m. Group E, 4:40 a.m. Group F, 4:50 a.m. and Group G start line clears.
Dun dun dun.
You know, now that I mentioned that I was still hanging out at Gear Check during the marathon, do you want to tell people what Gear Check is and how it works?
Sure, Gear Check is available for all races in the reunion area. You should use the clear bag that you got at the expo with all your shirts in it. Usually there are extras though, because I never remember that one. And it usually has become a dirty laundry pile at this point of the race weekend. If you forget your gear check, it'll go to Epcot Lost and Found at Guest Relations outside the park. If you lose something that is not clothing, you're going to first check with the information tent in the staging area. And there is an online form that is linked in the event guide. We have first-hand exclusive information that it does work. Our friend Jess got her shocks back from
A,
submitting it.
a true
Reminder
Disney
time.
miracle, really.
Honestly, yes. Unclaimed lost and found items after the race weekend will go to Epcot Guest Relations desk outside the park, same as your gear check. If you lose clothes, they will be donated. So, um, you know,
Try
maybe
not to
not your like,
lose your favorite Lululemon hat or something.
oh yeah, don't lose the crown. I don't know how you're stripping the parking lot to lose that, but I
Maybe
don't
the
know, man.
shrug. Maybe you could accidentally pull the shrug off or something. Or oh, they do
Maybe.
make the headbands. Crown makes
Oh, true,
headbands. Don't lose your crown headband.
true, true. But yeah, we don't do that. Don't do that. That's not nice to yourself. Um, we're going to talk about spectator information. We kind of touched on this earlier. There are certain locations that are accessible without park tickets. And we're talking specifically about the marathon in this capacity. Because for the 5K and 10K, your options to spectate are the start line and the finish line. For the 10K, if you are a resort guest at the Yacht and Beach Club and at the boardwalk, you can go out and cheer. It is a quiet zone, so they don't want like the cowbells or, a lot of that going on. But you do have the option to, go outside, see your runner, support your friend. Yeah. So for the half marathon, actually, I'll go into this before then I get to our with and without park tickets. You can spectate at the start and finish line. Um, if you are staying at the Grand Floridian around mile 4.5, runners will be coming through between 5:15 and 7:20 a.m. and you can cheer. It says accessible to guests staying at the Grand Flow. Mile 5.4, which is the Main Street USA in Magic Kingdom. Theme park admission is not required before 7:30 a.m. and we will all be through there by 7:30 a.m. So runners are expected to come through between 5:20 and 7:30 a.m. You'll have to take the monorail from Epcot to the TTC, go transfer to the other monorail, and get to Magic Kingdom Park from there. If you're staying at the Contemporary Resort, you can spectate there. It's mile 6.7. If you want to spectate at the TTC, about mile 7.5 for the half marathon again, is runners will be coming through between 5:30 and 8:05 a.m. Take the monorail from Epcot to the TTC, and boom, you're there. Exciting. We will talk later about kind of how, like, a little bit of a spectator tip related to tracking your runner. So for the marathon, big kahuna, long event, long day. So we are going to be running through parks when they are open. So there are certain different locations that are accessible with park tickets or without park tickets. So start and finish in the Epcot parking lot. You do not need a ticket to go there. Your first not or you can spectate at the Grand Flow if you're a guest of the resort. Also at the Contemporary, also at Disney's Boardwalk. It says accessible to guests staying at these places. In terms of how they verify that, I don't know. But I think what they want to do is they don't want to encourage people to Uber there. So you may get turned away if you try to Uber there to spectate. You may be able to get through, but you may be turned away.
They've been really cracking down on who can get into the parking lots at these resorts. So
yes, because some people like to try to stay all day, and then the people staying there can't park their cars, and that's sad. Also, just spectating locations in general, I feel like they've been cracking down on a little bit more.
Mhm.
If you want to spectate in Magic Kingdom on Main Street USA, you can do so. You do not require a theme park admission if you enter before 7:30 in the morning. Now, because the race starts so much earlier, they note that we'll be running through until about 7:30 in the morning, so it's probably around like balloony time. When I think that the way we did the math last year kind of estimated that maybe comes the last couple stragglers. So if you want to spectate, make sure you're there before 7:30 in the morning. If you want to do it for free.
Mhm.
But now we're going to get to places that are accessible with park tickets. It'll be Magic Kingdom after that point. Again, most of your runners will have gone through by that point, to be honest. And then Disney's Animal Kingdom, you have to have a ticket to do any in-park viewing. The way we enter is through backstage. We kind of like go not like near the safari, but like kind of in terms of if you want to kind of or like mentally visualize where we go. But you kind of go in through the back and then you go back out through the back. So it's not like you would be able to see, it's not like Magic Kingdom where you go in literally through the turnstiles to get into the park. We don't necessarily recommend going to DAC to spectate, specifically, if you want to make it to the finish for your runner.
Mhm.
Um,
Or
it
really go
is,
anywhere at all during the race, to be fair.
yes, parking or the traffic situation is rough. I say having not really experienced it because I was always the one causing it, but the traffic situation is rough. In terms of like your ways to get in and out of Animal Kingdom, obviously there are some, but you're like Western Way, we're running on it. Bear Island Road, we're running on it. There's not really a lot of ways to get in and out of DAC. So if you kind of maybe have an agreement with your runner that like yeah, I'm gonna kind of go chill after mile 17, you know, almost like a leisurely finish to your marathon, then yeah, you might be able to make it to the finish line. But I would strongly like have a plan in place if I or not go to Animal Kingdom to
Mhm.
spectate. If you're just there for the day, like yeah, absolutely go cheer, do whatever. Just know that like you kind of have to pick one or the other.
Mhm.
Um, Hollywood Studios, we really only blip in there for like less than half of a mile in total.
But But it is a really nice place if you want to give us free candy.
Absolutely, yes. And go pee in the Skyliner bathrooms, which you can do without a park ticket. Um, Skyliner bathrooms save lives. So you will have it is a great place, but note that if you are trying to again make it to the finish line to see your runner, you it'll be
That's
like, oh, I
tight.
can take this. Yeah, it'll be tight. You'll be like, oh, I'll take the Skyliner. The Skyliner drops you off on the wrong quote unquote side of Epcot, which you can get through, but just know that if your runner is like hoofing it, you are going to run into the same situation as like you
Hmm.
might not have enough time to get there. That would be the benefit of when we did do the World Showcase loop of
Hmm.
Whee! Um
No offense, spectators, but I'd rather the benefit go to me, not you.
Also, I would say that they probably get a little bit more of that benefit because they have less of the run of their day taken up by the race.
Hmm.
If we're only doing that small, we're not doing the full World Showcase
Yeah,
loop.
less of the park is impacted once guests are in the park.
We're so nice. Um Epcot as well. Again, you will need a ticket to be, in the park. Um I will say that is very, very hard to spectate, and then unless you're a runner yourself or your friend is lollygagging and tells you they're lollygagging, me. For my first marathon in 23, I did say, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna give you guys some time to get to the finish line to a couple of friends. But yeah, you're not it'll be really hard to spectate in Epcot and then also get to the finish line. Very hard. So you kind of got to almost pick your battles. With respect to um, runner tracking, we'll include the link in our show notes. Um, I just want to note that this is an estimate for your pace for like when you get, or like kind of like with the timing mats. Okay. So if let's say that we're doing our like kind of like standard timing mats at like five at the 5K, the 10K, and the 15K for a half marathon. Okay. Um, if you cross the 5K mark in 30 minutes, it'll estimate your pace and it'll be like, oh, she's probably running that and she'll get to the 10K in 60 minutes. It's not GPS enabled. So its checkpoints are basically like how it's estimating your pace. So if you stop for a character photo or the bathroom, it will not pick up on this until you hit the next timing mat. Basically, what it will do is it'll kind of just like sit at like 6.2 and but not register a 10K split until you actually hit that. So really, I'd recommend just keeping in contact with your runner, having them on Find My Friends to get the most accurate prediction of where they will be. Runner checking, I'm not going to, again, it's really helpful, especially knowing when your runner does hit those checkpoints. But in terms of like, if you look at it and it says that they're at mile 22, that may or may not be actually accurate because say that they saw Goofy and they like had to stop for them, or they, wanted to spend more time in the Blizzard Beach parking lot for some reason, unbeknownst to me. It won't necessarily pick up on like that they stopped. And that, usually 20 is the last mile marker or the last, check or tracking checkpoint. Don't know if they're going to do something spicy this year. I love when they're sneaky. And they put those extra timing mats in. But keep in touch with your runner. I am notoriously hard to keep in touch with, so I just drop my Find My Friends location for anyone who needs it, and then we go from there because that's the way you find me. Because I won't answer. I will answer my phone if it's like critical, but I go like, yeah, I'm gonna check in more, and then just, hey, I finished the race.
On a
I'm working
similar
on it.
note, if you're trying to meet your runner in the reunion area, like pick a number, like a parking lot sign number or something as like an actual meet point because it is chaotic in there. And if their phone dies, you need a way to meet up without that phone. Also
True.
a good shout out for a fuel rod. Pack a fuel rod.
Yes, they're pretty small. If you you pass the Everest gift shop, you can walk in there, swap it, and then go on your merry way. If Everest is open at that point. But yeah, it's definitely super helpful, especially sometimes service goes. Some actually, the beer club is not alone in the gear check anymore. Everybody. But one of the things I do pack is I do pack my I I don't have as old of a dyno of a phone anymore, but especially when I had my old dyno, I would just pack my extra battery so that I could, and with a charger, so I could sit and charge my phone because I knew better than trust myself. uh, it do be that way. Um, now on to our favorite part.
Race etiquette.
Woohoo!
Please pay attention to pre race instructions, both digital and verbal. What you read and hear will not only help guide you through the race course, but will also keep you safe. We're all about safety, guys.
Love that. Please enter your correct start group. This will ensure that you are running with people who have a similar pace. If you are deciding you have a proof of time and say you want to drop back, you can drop back. Your friend cannot come join you up front. Um, that's a no-no.
Mhm. If you are stopping at a water station, move all the way over to the table, grab your water, and then move away from the table so that others can get water too. As a side note, I would also like to say that there's usually more than one table, so you do not have to go to the very first person you see. Keep moving.
True. Run or walk no more than 2 abreast. Other athletes will want to get by you. If you are walking in a group, please start in the last start group. Please just be aware. I know sometimes there's like a pod of 2 and then a pod of 2 and they kind of like just like end up near each
They
other. So I like
merge.
they merge. It's alive. So try to be just aware. I mean, sometimes when we go down the international squeezeway, as Greg calls it for Rise and Run, there's only so much you can do. But
Mhm.
be as aware as you can. And try not to have the whole squad, all 10 of you, like just in a line.
Along with being courteous of others around you, please move to the side if someone behind you says, "Excuse me," or "coming through." Be courteous of those around you. You want them to do the same for you, and it helps everyone stay safe. Say it with me. Safety! Yay!
Begins with me. To add to that, I love that for you when you like want to raise your hand when you're changing between walking and running. But please, for the love of the mouse, please look over your shoulder and like make sure it's actually safe to do so, as well as kind of give like a little countdown. That what the pacers do, they count out verbally. They go
Mhm,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I usually just do that with my fingers, but my hand is up for like enough time that I think you know what I'm doing.
mhm,
I will try to do it verbally, but sometimes I'm out of breath by a certain point. Okay.
mhm,
But it'll keep both you and like the people around you safe because if you stop and like yes, you raise your hand, but there's somebody coming behind you who is charging through. It's like using your blinker in your car, but actually like checking too, to look
mhm.
over your shoulder.
Actually
We're
check
all
your
about
blind
safety.
spot.
Yes. Yes. Not just rely on your technology that beeps at you. Um, Actually check the blind spot. But something you can also do is feel free to shout words of encouragement to other athletes. You will hear words of encouragement in return. I usually pick a certain amount of time to be annoying. Uh, See also all of the wine and dine half. So probably so if you chant something at me, if I know your reference, I will chant it back at you. As long as it's polite. But like if like you yell Pink Pony Club, I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club, okay? Like what am I supposed to do? So just know that I think that's part of the awesome and seriousness, the awesome like group community and like the group
Mhm,
experience. And I think you miss out on a lot of lore if you like and I have worn my headphones for races. I don't do it too much for Run Disney races, but if you kind of are like locked in or whatever, you kind of miss out the lore and like funny things that happen around you if like, you know, you're not
Also,
paying attention.
rumor has it that if you're wearing any kind of headphones, because technically the rules say you're not supposed to do that, that you won't end up in any of the promotional materials. So if your goal is to get photographed by the professionals and actually not just photographed, but like chosen, supposedly, I cannot confirm because I am not in that job, but I've heard that's a deterrent.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, now I'm gonna have to go through the Facebook posts. One of these times when Run Disney Media pulls me aside, I am gonna actually make the promo pick. I have faith; it will happen eventually. But it is like a really fun when they're like, "Hey, can you like come over here for a second?" Like it's a hey friend, but it's not a hey friend, you know. That's oh my god, I'm gonna have to analyze. Because I believe like if you're wearing, because especially Shocks is a sponsor of the weekend, I bet like that would be like. But if you're wearing like locked in, like
Yeah. I don't know.
interesting.
When you are approaching the finish line, you may see loved ones cheering for you. Please do not encourage anyone to join you in the finish line stretch. Your support team is very important, but please communicate that the race course and finish area are for registered participants and staff only. We discuss the double barriers every time. I don't know who did it. I know in other races, lots of parents like to have their kids like jump in right at the end to run across the finish line with them. This is not that race.
Someone did that at Disneyland at Halloween Half this year, and like the kid, I saw the pictures of the kid. And the kid looked terrified. I would be scared too. Like I'm team kid. They were like, "What am I doing?" I think it was before. I think it was before I finished. But I remember seeing the pictures. The kids was like, "WTF?" Uh, Enjoy your post race refreshments, but remember that others will want to enjoy the goodies too. Something we didn't bring up is that we seem to have the same setup in the parking lot in the reunion area as we'd had at Wine and Dine, where the stage and those characters are there, and then the beer tent is right there next to it. I don't know if we're going to have any, if the photo pass situation for the I Did It photos will be different or not. It was pretty generic last year in terms of just the block of photo pass.
Mhm.
So I can't really say anything to that. I do hope that they go back a little bit more to the old one, or they just increase the number of photographers that they have available. I
Mhm.
think that was more of the issue with that, or the line goes fast, but we can't reduce the number of photographers and expect it to still go at the same speed. Um, but I don't know. We shall see.
Do you want to tell everyone what our favorite rule is that isn't in the event guide?
Don't be a
Beep.
jerk. It's the first rule of DLS as well, is don't be a jerk
We live
or
by
jag
that.
off. More people should say the word jag off. I love the word jag off. It's such a Chicago thing. Mr. Nally and I said that about one. So my mom just laughed at least. Something that it's in the event guide lightly referenced, but we didn't bring it up here until this point for a reason, is coast to coast. Every single expo check-in pass for this race weekend will say not coast to coast eligible, if it's even on there. Okay, you only are noted as coast to coast eligible when you are at the weekend in which you are completing your second qualifying race. So, as coast to coast is a calendar year thing, this is our first set of races of 2026. Nobody is going to be eligible at marathon weekend. The first people who will be eligible for coast to coast will be at Disneyland half marathon weekend. So, just to make that clear, if you see not coast to coast eligible, just know that that is normal. You shouldn't be coast to coast eligible yet. If you don't see it at Dumbo, we're gonna have we have another conversation to have, but we're not there yet. And finally, event guide discounts, because the Disney Springs discounts are gone. But they also kind of like will take them. Like if you like, certain restaurants do still take them. Some of the just notable ones: 30% off honey stingers with code Disney30, 20% off Cirque du Soleil tickets through the link that's in the event guide. Noogs code WDW Marathon to save 15% off now through 125/26. Sparkle Athletic. Use code lowercase b books 10 for 10% off all purchases until 1/15/26, not 25. Good job, Natalie, for that typo. What a marathon, if we will.
We love a good play on words.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, I definitely recommend, even though we verbally went over this, I do recommend looking through the event guide yourself. We are pretty thorough, and it's funny because like each time we do the event, like I feel like we add like a new subsection to a new subsection to a new of like information. But I definitely recommend leafing through it. I do think it makes everything a lot more real in
Mhm.
terms of like last week. It was like a spiritual awakening. I was like, oh, I'm running another dopey. That thing.
I think it's also useful to go through the event guide to go and save all those graphics that we just talked through at you.
Yes.
Save them to your camera roll, favorite them, turn them into wallpapers for your phone, all those things. Later, closer to the race, Once Upon a Marathon will release the epic bathroom spectacular
Ugh.
map. Make sure you save that one as well. We'll try and reshare it, but just make it as easy as possible for yourself to get the information you need when you need it, because your brain will be Swiss cheese by the end, and we don't need any extra barriers like phone signal or whatever getting in our way.
Just know that I myself do not always follow this, because what I end up doing is in the Epcot parking lot, I am literally searching the transcript to the podcast episode to figure out, and I don't know exactly know what, I think maybe when the start group closes or something like that. I just remember like scrolling through the transcript on Apple Podcasts. I'm like, when does this happen? Like, when does my start group close? Or when does your start group close? Like, do you have time to run to the bathroom or something like that? I literally have done that. So I will try. I mean, it's 50-50 on whether or not I remember to actually save down because the graphics being cute also helps. And also I like having a record of them. That's so auditor of me, but I like having the record because like I like looking and comparing things year over year. But just so you know, you can search through transcripts and it's great on your podcatcher of choice.
We hope you enjoyed another edition of Event Guide.
Event Guide Review. I'd say we'll have one like pretty soon again, but they kind of freeball it with Disneyland, man. And like also we have other things, and like it's probably going to end up in like a month, but that is soon. That is soon.
That is soon.
That is soon. So probably not quite as early as these other ones were, but I don't know. The mouse decides.
We're going to be back in the thick of it of like regular Event Guide reviews. So.
Oh yeah. And then we'll get Princess. Oh, it'll be so good. I was mapping that out. I was mapping out like episode schedules like into like January. It's like once we're like hit mid-January into February, like we're sitting so pretty, man.
Mm-hmm. So, subscribe, follow us, join us in all the places if you want more of this. And if you don't, believe it or not, we talk about other things too. So join for that. See y'all next time.
If you enjoyed listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud. You might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment that you'd like to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.